Welcome to Tom Strong Reviews. Here we have my Funko Pop television range for BBC Doctor Who. At the time of making this video there are over 40 different figures across 3 different waves. Here are my favourite 15 that make up for me a perfect pop Doctor Who collection. There's a mixture of new and original Who here, so I'm going to go through the original Who. So we've got First Doctor on top there, Fourth Doctor, Sarah Jane, Fourth Doctor variant and K9. All the rest are new Who. So we've got both types of TARDIS. We've then got 11th Doctor, 10th Doctor, 9th Doctor, War Doctor, of course 12th Doctor standing proud out front. And we've then got Davros, Dalek Sec and Dalek, which is really a Time War Dalek, here on the far left. Here we have the original range of figures, starting with the First Doctor on the left. And he's at a jaunty angle because due to his hair and styling, there's a lot of weight to the back of his head and there's very little hair on his forehead, and therefore it's a little bit hard to get him to be balanced. And although I've got him standing with his head at a jaunty angle, for the rest of the video he's actually going to have blue tack under his feet. We then got the first release of the Fourth Doctor, where he's got a sonic screwdriver in his hand, and it's a really good representation of the Doctor's scarf, and it's a little bit brown and tan for my liking, but it's really good overall. Sarah Jane then in the middle, fantastic, one of the most popular companions of all, with the Fourth Doctor being the most popular Doctor. We've then got the second variant, Fourth Doctor, green fedora, jelly babies in hand, and on the far right we've got K9, and K9 is actually particularly well detailed and painted. We'll come to him on the individual figure spin. The Sarah Jane figure does come with a plastic see-through disc for balance purposes, with the hole underneath the foot, which is rather ironic as I can get her to stand up quite well, and it's actually the First Doctor that needs the holes in the feet. I'm tempted to get my drill out. Here's the First Doctor, as played by William Hartnell, then Richard Herndl and most recently David Bradley. Really good ageing on the face, simple furrowed brow, brown lines and grey eyebrows, and ageing under the eyes works really good. Beautiful pose, I think that's a very natural First Doctor pose. The hair is a beautiful white grey, it's neither too white nor stark. Very nice simple detail on the jacket. The trousers are particularly good, really nice lined detail. And if you ignore the blue tack at the moment, I'm now just going to zoom quickly in on the hand, because you'll see here there's actually a blue signet ring, which is absolutely right. They've researched the colour of that correctly, which is not bad at all considering they were all black and white, and they've had to look up onto that. So again, Funko done a really good deal of research here and very good detail all round. I think that's a really good figure. It's a real shame about the balance. It actually looks mostly like, as you can see by my blue tack heels, that if the Doctor had slightly larger heeled shoes, then he'd actually stand up for himself. Here we have the Fourth Doctor. Tom Baker played this role fantastically through many years. On the left we have the kind of brown stroke burgundy coloration, on the right a grey. Now the Doctor figure did actually wear many different colour jackets, so these are absolutely fine. It was a herringbone grey and a kind of deep. This could either be the brown or the burgundy, depending on what colour and light you have this one in. But the scarf was always, there was only 2 types of scarf, so there was this multicoloured scarf, which is most famous, I think represented best with the figure on the right. The fedora was nearly always the brown, so this one on the left here has got a really good, the hat is really fantastic here. And the other type of scarf was actually a pure burgundy and alternating colours of burgundy and red, with a little bit of blue, was mostly a red scarf. So they haven't done that version of the Fourth Doctor yet, and possibly they won't, but we'll see. I think 2's more than enough. And the hair is really good, they've really got it voluminous. The waistcoat on both of them are the same, very well neatly lined again. And you've even got the cravat underneath the scarf going on very well, different colour cravat. The shoes are the same, and really impressive details like the pleats on the back of their jackets. Nice detailing, it's the same mould, you can see. Now why the hair's different colour, not sure. I think for the one on the left, the darker chocolate brown colour of Tom Baker, and details like the sonic screwdriver, absolutely that's very accurate, and you know, it's the right type with the red head, etc. So that's exactly what I'd expect to see in the guy's hands, and the Jelly Babers was certainly the next most iconic thing that he'd be generously handing out to friend and foe. I think Funko have done a very good job here. This is actually the only Doctor figure I've got myself both versions of. Most of the others I've not been that impressed with the variants, but I really did like the peaceful, loving version of Tom Baker with his Jelly Babies. I couldn't say no, and I think the scarf is also that much better. Now to the companions. I'm going to start with ladies first. Elizabeth Sladen, Sarah Jane, and the figure's been styled completely on the episode The Hand of Fear, where Sarah Jane actually has Eldrad's ring. Now her head spins almost all the way around, so they've done a very clever thing here where her hair doesn't interfere with the hands. So sometimes with the raised hands you limit the head spin, but not in this case at all. Really colourful, great colour shoes. The hair is ridiculously long. It's fantastic that it goes down to the waist. Absolutely, Elizabeth Sladen had shoulder length hair, slightly over the shoulder length, but never that long, and I think Funko have done some fun with that. Great kind of romper suit stripe going on here. All the design and patination there is absolutely perfect, and the shoes are as fun and colourful as the character was throughout. Now moving on to K9. K9's a bit of a star in this, if you ask me, because he's just so well detailed. So look at the back here, all the buttons on display, very neatly painted, lovely tail going on here. It's been quite nicely done where the head, true to Funko style, has been enlarged. They've kept the body in similar kind of proportions. The tail was good. None of the head spins on the K9 figure, nor do the ear antennas, radar spinner dishes, which is just a shame because a bit of oscillation on those would be really fun. And I keep wanting to pull out his scanner sensor probe proboscis here, and neither does the gun come out. So really detailed, and the collar underneath K9 or around K9's neck is similarly coloured in the style of the Fourth Doctor's colourful multicoloured scarf, which is quite fun, and the actual metal ring there just hangs slightly left of centre with a little bit of splash of silver, which I think just helps bring it to life. And I just, all in all, really think the K9 figure is great fun. They've got the styling perfect there, and the height is about right. They've managed to get it shorter than the other Funkos without it being Diddy. Then we have the two favourite companions from the Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker's reign. And here we have the New Who Doctor collection. From left to right we have the War Doctor, played by John Hurt. We then have the Ninth Doctor, played by Christopher Eccleston, the first one to actually restart the TV series that we all know and love. The 10th Doctor, of course, David Tennant. We then have Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor, and on the far right we have Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor. They're going to each get a bit of a close-up, but the one thing I must point out, for me, the Matt Smith figure isn't skinny enough. Now, I'm not saying that he should look like Sarah Jane figure, but certainly Matt Smith's legs are, let's call them lanky. I think that's the word I'd use for a guy. And svelte, possibly even another, but he almost looks too stocky. The body of the Funko, I think, should be reasonably representative, and obviously not such a feminine form as Sarah Jane, but I think they could have done something special with Matt Smith's body. Here with the War Doctor, and they've done a really great job with the hair, making it a real mane standing up here in the front, very proud. They've given it a nice grey wash with the brown coloration. I'd say the War Doctor was more grey than this. Actually, John Hurt a little bit older, and they've got the face and the lines in the forehead right. They've got the greyness of the beard and the kind of goatee going on here. They haven't really got anything on the side and the cheeks, but I think they've done this very well. Really smart clothing, and love the kind of salopettes going on over the shoes, and the fob watch chain, really good detail. His pencil-like Sonic, and really nice, just simple detailing. Now, okay, the leather doesn't look like, or the jacket doesn't look like the waxed cotton aged that it did in the TV show, but I think they've really got the look and feel of the War Doctor down to a T. Here with the 9th Doctor, very accurate, thin hairstyle going on there, very nice. He did indeed wear black. It was quite a goth looking black leather jacket wielding Doctor. simple t-shirt arrangement, and again the accurate use of the correct sonic screwdriver. It's a very simple figure, but I'm really glad that they brought this out. I was worried that when they started the new Who straight at the 10th that they were going to skip past the 9th. And whilst we're talking about which ones they missed, why don't we have Mr. McGann, 8th Doctor? Here we have David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. This has been released in many formats, but the first one is actually my favourite. So this is the one that came out in the original wave, and it's partly because they got the kickers right. It's got the sonic, got the hair, really nice styling going on there. Actually has a good look. I think they got the eyebrows right. Sometimes the faces, they really get it right. Sideburns, perfect. Coat with pleat. And you've got all in all very nice Doctor with, again, as all of them, the correct sonic. And there's a nice bit of detailing going on here with the blue suit underneath, a very tidy collar shirt and tie going on underneath there. There are 4 other versions of this Doctor, but this really is the only one that's really kept me interested and wanting to buy. So although the other versions, including ones in spacesuits, etc., absolutely are David Tennant, they just haven't really captured it as good as this first one with the kicker shoes for me. And so remains the only one of the type in my collection. Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. What a great figure. Got a nice quiff over his right eye. Not sure why the hair had to be a separate piece. Do look out for the seam on that. Mine's particularly good. They're not all as good. Hair's good. Very simple rear to the figure. It's nice detailing on the hair and ears. Always the right sonic. They've got the bow tie underneath there with the shirt. Again, some of them paint slightly better than others. The tips of the shirt collar often are red by the red bow tie, but really nice, simple, clean figure. There are many versions of this figure, and this one is the original. It's actually now been withdrawn. There are 4 other versions of this Doctor figure, but again, this is my favourite. This is actually the first one from the first wave, but for me, all the others just don't quite say Matt Smith the way this does, and at the moment this remains the only one of the type I have. Here with the 12th Doctor, it's played by Peter Capaldi. It's really nice and clean. It's a nice jacket, tidy shirt, nice red lining to the jacket, again the correct sonic. There's a ring on his left finger, which is again correct. The hair is very well done. Always styled the hair well, don't they? The jacket is very simple to the back, no real details. I always like little details, like when the trousers sit on top of the shoe and are slightly crumpled. That's always a nice detail to see. And this was actually the first Funko Pop I ever bought. So back in July 2015, this is the one that started it all. This and the TARDIS when they came out, which is Wave 1, July 2015, so long ago. And here we have the most popular adversary of Doctor Who, the Daleks, and of course Davros, the creator of the Daleks. As you can see, Davros is a 6-inch figure, and although the base is very similar to all of the Daleks with their 3 spheres around the actual side skirts of the lower part of the Daleks, his figure and head means, with a frame around his head, means he stands extremely tall, disproportionately tall, and it's actually a pity, in my view, that they've made the Davros figure so large. He's larger than the Daleks. Now, possibly what's happened here, and there might be a bit of a story to this, but my guess and my assumption is that the Daleks themselves haven't got the large Funko head classic. They've actually been squashed, and I think by squashing them and making them wider, they've caused their own kind of problem, which was inevitable and came out here, we see, with the Davros figure. So I actually think the Daleks are much more like the Titan Ranger figures, where they're just generally squatter and more sturdy and you know, compact. So in a way, they've suffered by making this beautiful Dalek. This gorgeous shape really looks lovely, but I think Davros has suffered for it. None of these figures have heads that spin, so they are fixed to the body as is, and neither do the plunger nor weapon nor eye stalk move in any way. But all in all, the details are very good. 3 spheres on the skirts of the Daleks. Obviously Dalek Sec suffers from being all black, so there's very little detail to show, but as you can see on the gold Time War Dalek, there's some nice detailing also on the middle third part that since the Time War they've been able to spin independently, so the bottom, middle and head of the Dalek would normally be able to spin independently, as well as they of course can levitate now. So Davros, beautiful, lovely detailed face. Unlike a lot of the Funkos, this is not a standard face. They've actually done a really nice sculpt, so sunken, sullen eyes. Davros has always been inferred to have no non-functioning eyes, and he always is seen through the central eye stalk, which is, depending on the age of Davros, whether it's part of his head frame set and the chair, or some sort of cyber augmentation internal to his brain skull himself. He's obviously, again, new Who, because his right hand is metal and encased in metal. Some really nice details on his console with buttons and levers, but you can really see that they've literally popped Davros figure on top of or inside of a Sec lower skirt part of a Dalek. The height's slightly different, so they've actually squashed Davros somewhat. It's almost like they were trying to not make this a 6-inch tall figure, and somehow failed because these were already so squashed. So I guess this silver mid-frame ring where all these attachments are, and the head and the back, they're all a bit loose, so they're not attached to the figurehead, which is why I think they've managed to paint this so well, and it's a stunning level of detail. My favourite actually is the Time War Dalek. I think the colour, they've picked the really nice bronze copper colours, work really well, and there's just enough variety in the colouring, and because they've got a nice dark rim here, the figure stands out much better. Again, darkness around the eye stalk, where Dalek Sec literally fell into the black gloss paint can at Funko and has come out slightly lesser for it because there's no detail. A little bit of grey in amongst the black would have worked well, so there's very little variety or variance in colour at all, apart from the weapon stalks, and so I think the Time War Dalek absolutely wins. And of course, pushing Sec out the way is why I think you need to have a couple. You've got to, give Davros the escort he deserves. Here we have both the TARDIS and the Materialising TARDIS. They're both exactly the same shape model. There's a scale for a Doctor, just to get the idea. The difference is the one on the left, the Materialising TARDIS, is made from a see-through plastic or acrylic, and apart from the very top, you can actually see there's kind of a difference in plastic even underneath it. So all of this is actually see-through, and they've painted parts of it in blue, so we'll show you a few little details on how you can tell that when I spin it, and so there might be some subtle variation on just how far down the blue paint or the materialization effect is on your TARDIS. Both have doors that open, they open inwards, and as I showed the Materialising TARDIS already, they both have no bottoms, i.e. they're hollow, which is fantastic because it allows you to pop the TARDIS on top of your favourite Doctor and have him looking out. There's not really room for two figures in there because the head's so big, depending on the figures. The detail is really good on all the boxes. The writing on the front here is correct. The handle's in silver, opening and closing door for the telephone and the actual TARDIS itself. St. John's ambulance decor as well. Very, very detailed. The windows are very simple and white. And what you can see, of course, is that the entire TARDIS is being squashed down so that these squares are actually rectangles correspondingly. The police public call box is again well written. You've got a white light on this TARDIS, where the Materialising TARDIS has a blank, non-illuminated light, which is quite nice as well. So you've got one blinking on and one blinking off. I love the fact it's hollow. Simple plain blue inside, dark enough to not give any problems, and yeah, all in all, very pleased with that. Really fantastic figure piece. The Materialising TARDIS has a light that is off, so you can see through the beacon with the lantern on top. Exactly the same wording and lettering. The signage on my public please call instruction box isn't as clear. I've also got a bit of splodge of paint, so be careful of some of those, but again the handles are all exactly the same. The only negative I've got really is that there's a internal transfer stamp which you can see through, so I'm going to just shine and have a look in there. I'm going to zoom right in, And as you can see, there's some kind of lettering and stamp and logo in the slightly white letter. That just doesn't need to be visible, and if only they'd move that higher. But again, it's exactly the same on that TARDIS, the non-materialising TARDIS, and you can't see it. But again, very sharp, beautiful figure, and great fun being able to have the TARDIS coming and going. I hope you've enjoyed my video. Here's my new Who collection, and as you can see, I've been selective. I'd like to see what you think about my selection. Is there any other Doctors or figures you think I should be getting, or you think any alternatives are better than these? Please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment. I try to answer as many questions as I can in the comment section below. This is broadly split into two groups. We have New Who. Well done, Dalek 223. You can pop one on top of a Doctor Who figure, and of course have him peeking out through the door. Let me know which Doctor Who figure you'd like to see Funko deliver next.